envelope detector is used for demodulating the AM signals, but the time constant is one of the very important parameter. The charging time constant is always neglected, and discharging time constant should be very high. But always upper limit and lower limit are required. So see this one, the time constant of any envelope detector should satisfy this condition. So time constant depends on the message frequency as well as carrier frequency. Suppose if the time constant is too large, diagonal clipping occurs. So to avoid diagonal clipping, the second condition is required. If you see this formula, the time constant of the envelope detector depends on the message frequency and also depends on the modulation index. Now see these waveforms. The parameter I changed is mu. First case mu is equal to 1, mu is equal to 0.7 and mu is equal to 0.3. So the envelope of the carrier is nothing but the message signal. So this one time taken to complete one cycle of the message signal is given by 1 by Fm. Now the point is that when the time constant is too large, so this one the voltage across the capacitor very gradually it is decreasing and we are not in a position to track this portion of the waveform. So one possible solution for this is changing the value of mu. So when mu changes, the amplitude variation of the signal changes. When mu is 1, the V maximum and V minimum variation is more. When you decrease the value of mu, so V maximum and V minimum, that variation will be less. No change in the message frequency. The parameter what you are changing is only the modulation index. So when mu is 1, so we are not at all in a position to track the envelope of the AM signal. But if you see this one, when mu is decreased, here problem is more severe, but here problem is very less. Now, if you see here in this case, here mu is 0.3. Here the amplitude variation is even very less. In this case, almost I am in a position to track the envelope detector. So remember, to avoid diagonal clipping, so time constant depends on the message frequency and also depends on the modulation index. So the answer is C. So, if you take a DC component, the autocorrelation function of a DC component will be equal to that DC component you have to square it. So the autocorrelation function of a DC component, it is always equal to that DC component and you have to square it. That is the first statement. So first statement is true. Second statement what is given is, if a random process is having a periodic component, autocorrelation function also consists of a periodic component with the same frequency. Even this statement is also true. Example I have taken is assume that the random process is a cos omega naught into t plus theta. In this, a is a constant and omega naught is also a constant, and theta is a random variable uniformly distributed in the interval 0 to 2 pi. That means random variable can take any value between 0 to 2 pi with equal probability. So that is the probability density function of theta. The formula for autocorrelation function is expectation of x of t1 into x of t2. So the given function substituted. Now we can simplify using the formula cos A into cos B, cos A plus B and cos A minus B by 2. Now the first function, whenever you integrate a sine or cos from 0 to 2 pi, always the average value will be equal to 0. Any sinusoidal component is considered. Whenever you integrate over a full cycle, always the average value will be equal to 0. Now, second term, it is considered as a constant because random variable is not present. In this example, theta is the random variable. So, what is the average value of a constant is same. So the autocorrelation function is a square by 2 cos omega naught into tau. Here the random process consists of a periodic component equal to the frequency omega naught. Autocorrelation function also consists of a periodic component omega naught. So statement 1 and statement 2 both are correct. So the answer is C. In AM, the total power radiated into the total AM, the total power radiated into in AM, the total power radiated into free space is Pt is equal to Pc into 1 plus mu square by 2 when the message is sinusoidal. So the total power we can write like this also Pc plus Pc mu square by 2. So what Pc represents is the carrier power and Pc mu square by 2 represents the sideband power. Now in the question it is given the sideband power is increased by 69%. So when the modulation index is increased from mu1 to mu2. See here initially the modulation index is mu1 and here mu2. So when the modulation index is increased from mu1 to mu2, so the sideband power increases by 69%. Because it is given increases by 69%, it is written as 1.69. Now cancelling the common terms, here it is Pc mu by 2 and here also Pc mu square is equal to 1.69 mu1 square, and if we simplify mu2 is 1.3 times mu1. That means in order to increase the sideband power by 69%, modulation index mu2 should be 1.3 times mu1, or this is mu2 mu1. So that means the factor, by what factor the mu1 is increased is by a factor of 1.3. So the answer is 1.3. For demodulating the DSB signals, synchronous detector is used. In synchronous detector, the received signal is multiplied with the local oscillator output. The role of the local oscillator is to generate the same carrier. But practically sometimes there may be some phase shift between the received signal and the local oscillator output. In this example, what is the phase shift is assumed in this case as phi. Now, so what phi represents is the phase shift in the local oscillator output when compared with the received signal. Now, what is the output of the multiplier is the received signal is multiplied with local oscillator output. The simplification possible here is cos A into cos B can be written as cos A plus B plus cos A minus B by 2. Now, if you see this one, the first term, it is a very high frequency term, so it is eliminated in the low pass filter. Filter point of view, phase shift is not a problem, but it is a very high frequency signal. It is eliminated in the low pass filter, but second term is the message signal. Message signal always consists of significant low frequencies. So the output of the low pass filter is m of t by 2 multiplied with cos phi. So whenever there is a phase shift in the local oscillator, always the signal is multiplied with cos phi. So the answer is C. The random process x of t is given as a cos omega naught t plus b sin omega naught t. Here omega naught is a constant, a and b are independent discrete random variables. So a is a discrete random variable and b is also discrete random variable. Both are assuming the values -1 and 2 with the probabilities 2/3 and 1/3. Then what is the expectation of a and expectation of b? If we calculate b becomes 0. Next, expectation of a square and b square, if we simplify, the answer is 2. Now the answer is square and b square, if we simplify, the answer is 2. Now simplify, the answer is 2. Now see here, the autocorrelation function, we know it is nothing but expectation of x of t1 into x of t2. Now if you substitute this and simplify, total 4 terms possible, but out of those 4 terms I am considering only expectation of a square term and expectation of b square term. Remaining 2 terms, what I mean, see, they becomes 0 because expectation of AB can be written as expectation of A multiplied by expectation of B. But already we know that expectation of A and expectation of B is 0. So I am considering only 2 terms. One is expectation of A square term and expectation of B square term. Already we know that expectation of A square and B square is equal to 2. So if we simplify, the autocorrelation function I am getting is 2 cos omega naught t2 minus t1. We know very well t2 minus t1 can be written as tau. So the answer is 2 cos omega naught tau. Okay. The channel bandwidth is given as 4 kilohertz and it is affected by additive white Gaussian noise, and the two-sided power spectral density is given as 10 to the power minus 12 watts per hertz, and the signal power is given as 0.1 milliwatts. Channel capacity depends on the bandwidth of the channel and also the signal to noise ratio. In the question already signal power is given as 0.1 milliwatts. Then how to calculate the noise power from power spectral density is area. Area under power spectral density always gives the power. So here the area is calculated between minus b to plus b, and the noise power is nothing but n naught into b. Substituting, the answer noise power is 8 into 10 to the power 9 watt minus 9 watts. Already signal power is known to you, so the signal to noise ratio we are calculating. The question is to determine the channel capacity. Already bandwidth is given in the question as 4 kilohertz. Signal to noise ratio is already calculated by substituting the values of bandwidth as well as signal to noise ratio. The answer is 54.4 kilobits per second.